This is a list of geometry topics by Wikipedia page. Geometric shape covers standard terms for plane shapes, types, methodologies, and terminologies of geometry. Absolute geometry, affine geometry, algebraic geometry, analytic geometry, Archimedes' use of infinitesimals, birational geometry, complex geometry, combinatorial geometry, computational geometry, conformal geometry, constructive solid geometry, contact geometry, convex geometry, descriptive geometry, differential geometry, digital geometry, discrete geometry, distance geometry, elliptic geometry, enumerative geometry, epipolar geometry, finite geometry, fractal geometry, geometry of numbers, hyperbolic geometry, incidence geometry, information geometry, integral geometry, inversive geometry, inversive ring geometry, Klein geometry, Lie-sphere geometry, non-Euclidean geometry, numerical geometry, ordered geometry, parabolic geometry, plane geometry, projective geometry, quantum geometry, reticular geometry, Riemannian geometry, Ruppiner geometry, spherical geometry, symplectic geometry, synthetic geometry, systolic geometry, taxicab geometry, toric geometry, transformation geometry, tropical geometry, Euclidean geometry, foundations, Hilbert's axioms, point, locus, line, parallel, angle, concurrent lines, adjacent angles, central angle, complementary angles, inscribed angle, internal angle, supplementary angles, angle trisection, congruence, reflection, rotation, coordinate rotations and reflections, translation, glide, reflection, similarity, similarity, transformation, homotherty, shear mapping, Euclidean plane geometry, 2D computer graphics, 2D geometric model, altitude, Brahma-Gupta's formula, Brett-Schneider's formula, compass and straight edge constructions, squaring the circle, complex geometry, conic section, focus, circle, list of circle topics, Thaler's theorem, circumcircle, concyclic and circle and excircles of a triangle, orthocentric system, Monge's theorem, power center, 9-point circle, circle points, segments, proof misses, Minerva's problem, isoperimetric theorem, Manulus-Ptolemaeus theorem, Steiner chain, eccentricity, ellipse, semi-major axis, hyperbola, parabola, matrix, representation of conic sections, Dandelin spheres, curve of constant width, Euler triangle, Friese group, golden angle, Holdacher's theorem, interactive geometry software, parallel postulate, polygon star, polygon Pick's theorem, shape dissection, Beaulieu-Gerwien theorem, Poncelet-Steiner theorem, polygon triangulation, Pons-Asinorin, quadrilateral, bicentric, quadrilateral, cyclic, quadrilateral, equidiagonal, quadrilateral, kite, orthodiagonal, quadrilateral, rhombus, rectangle, square, tangential, quadrilateral, trapezoid, isosceles, trapezoid, sangaku, straight edge, symmedian, tessellation, prototile, aperiodic tiling, Wang tile, Penrose tiling, trapezoid, isosceles, trapezoid, triangle, acute and obtuse triangles, equilateral triangle, Euler's line, Heron's formula, integer triangle, Heronian triangle, isosceles triangle, list of triangle inequalities, list of triangle topics, pedal triangle, Pedo's inequality, Pythagorean theorem, Pythagorean triangle, right triangle, triangle inequality, trigonometry, list of trigonometry topics, wallpaper group, three-dimensional Euclidean geometry, 3D projection, 3D computer graphics, binary space partitioning, ray tracing, Graham scan, Borromean rings, Cavalieri's principle, cross-section, crystal, Cuisenaire rods, Desargues theorem, right circular cone, hyperboloid, napkin ring problem, Pappus's centroid theorem. Paraboloid, polyhedron, defect, dihedral, angle, prism, prismatoid, honeycomb, pyramid, parallelepiped, tetrahedron, Heronian tetrahedron, platonic solid, Archimedean solid, Kepler poinsot, polyhedra, Johnson solid, uniform polyhedron, polyhedral compound, Hilbert's third problem, deltahedron, surface normal, three-sphere, spheroid, ellipsoid, parabolic microphone, parabolic reflector, Soddy's hexlet, sphericon, stereographic projection, stereometry, n-dimensional Euclidean geometry, ball, convex hull, Coxeter group, Euclidean distance, homothetic center, hyperplane, lattice Ehrhart polynomial, Leech lattice, Minkowski's theorem, packing and covering sphere, packing, Kepler conjecture, kissing number problem, honeycomb, Andreini tessellation, uniform tessellation, Voronoi tessellation, Delaunay triangulation, quasi-crystal, parallelogram law, polytope, Schlaffer symbol, regular polytope, regular polytopes, sphere, quadric, hypersphere, sphere, spheroid, ellipsoid, hyperboloid, paraboloid, cone, torus, root system, similarity, zonotope, other geometries, projective geometry, arc, Desargues theorem, Girard Desargues, Desarguesian plane line at infinity, point at infinity, plane at infinity, hyperplane at infinity, projective line, projective plane, oval, Roman surface, projective space, complex projective line, complex projective plane, fundamental theorem of projective geometry, projective transformation, Mobius transformation, cross ratio, duality, homogeneous coordinates, Pappus's hexagon theorem, incidence, Pascal's theorem, affine geometry, affine space, affine transformation, finite geometry, differential geometry, contact geometry, Riemannian geometry, symplectic geometry, non-Euclidean plane geometry, angle excess, hyperbolic geometry, pseudosphere, tetrachoid, elliptic geometry, spherical geometry, Minkowski space, Thurston's conjecture, numerical geometry, curve interpolation, parametric curve, Bezier curve, spline, Hermite spline, beta spline, B-spline, higher order spline, NURBS, parametric surface, parametric patch, geometric algorithms, convex hull construction, Euclidean shortest path, point in polygon, point location, hidden line removal, mathematical morphology, Minkowski addition, generalizations, non-commutative geometry, topology, various, coordinate-free treatment, chirality, handedness, relative direction, mirror image, Erlangen program, four-dimensional space, group action, invariant, Hadwige's theorem, infinitesimal transformation, pi, polar sign, symmetry, shape, pattern, crystal system, freeze group, isometry, lattice, point groups in 2 dimensions, point groups in 3 dimensions, space group, symmetry, group, translational symmetry, wallpaper group, mathematics and fiber arts, Van Hiele model, prevailing theory of how children learn to reason in geometry, applications, astronomy, computer graphics, image analysis, robot control. The Strahler construction is used in the design of some musical instruments. Burmester's theory for the design of mechanical linkages.